You've never heard this before on Instagram, but I'm going to say it. Your level of conditioning is directly correlated to your productivity. Now, let me just explain exactly what I'm talking about and why I'm even making this statement. Well, first and foremost, when you're in a deficit, when you're burning body fat, when you're getting leaner, two things are happening. One, your body is becoming more sensitive to the food that you're giving, so it's going to, typically the metabolism gets more efficient, assuming you're doing things right. But not just that, you're also going to have a lot of time on your hands where you're not getting all this dopamine. Because as much as people don't realize, even if you're eating quality, healthy food, every time you consume energy is just another dopamine spike. So if you're constantly digesting, processing meals, and eating in excess, essentially, you're going to have this dopamine all the time. So now, not just when you cut back your food, you go into a deficit, not just are you going to notice you're getting leaner, you're feeling hungrier, but also you're going to notice that you have way more time on your hands and you have way more to be doing with your life aside from just meal prepping, grocery shopping, eating, and like doing things solely just around fitness. Because my whole goal with fitness was not to be this person that my entire life was just 24/7 fitness. My whole goal when I started was I want to develop a solid physique so I can feel my best, look my best, have the best confidence, and then from that start to eventually maintain it so I don't have to 24/7, around the clock always be focusing perfectly. And so what I'm noticing as I'm in this cut, as I'm getting leaner, yes, I'm seeing more muscle definition. Yes, I'm not retaining as much water. Yes, I am getting leaner day by day, week by week. But most importantly, I'm noticing that I have a lot of difficulty sitting still with the discomfort and those uncomfortable feelings of hunger, of boredom, of feeling like I should be eating this meal right now. Like normally this is what I would be doing. What do I do with my time now? And when you realize that burning fat and getting conditioned and very lean is going to make you more disciplined as a person, but also make you more productive, that's when everything's going to unlock. Because if you're a business owner watching this and you're looking to make more income, if you're in your 9-to-5 career and you're looking to get more done, especially if you have incentives on the line with your career, having that discipline and having that mental fortitude is going to carry over. Because if you're waking up and you're telling yourself, as much as I want to eat this food, I'm going to instead eat this because it's better for my goals. As much as I feel hungrier and I know that I don't need it, but I'm craving more energy, I'm just going to eat this amount because these are my goals and this is aligned with my vision and the person I want to be, the way I want to look, the way I want to feel. But if you're also looking at the fact of, okay, in addition to all this, I'm going to become more productive. When I tell you, when I got to the leanest I've ever been in my entire life, I was the most productive with my business, with entrepreneurship. I had the most opportunities presented to me. I made the most amount of money. And now with my fitness coaching business, as I'm getting leaner and I'm getting more disciplined with my own nutrition, because obviously being in a bulk for a long period of time, you kind of lose a bit of that. But getting back into that, I'm noticing so many more habits, positive habits, disciplines are just picking up. I'm essentially just carrying them as it's normal. When you're eating less food, the first couple of days are probably not going to feel the best. You're probably going to feel like you don't have that much energy. You're probably going to feel like you don't know, like if you can keep going. But what you're going to realize is you're going to become more disciplined. You're going to have, more ways of just controlling your feelings, because a lot of times what triggers food and overeating and obesity in general is emotion. If we didn't feel the emotion of hunger or boredom or loneliness or stress or whatever, we would not be overeating, and that's just a fact. But the thing is, like, obviously, unless you're blindfolded and somebody tells you there's less calories, and there is, like, most of the time, if you're eating in excess, it's because of one of these things. You can't manage your stress, you're getting cravings, you're binge eating, you don't know what to do with your time, you're bored, etc. Right? So when you have a clear map and a strategy around like what to be actually doing, how much to actually eat, you're going to realize like, wow, I have so many more hours across my day that not just do I not have to focus on the additional meal prep, the extra groceries, etc. But it's also going to be like this thing where because your body's not using energy to break down and utilize that energy, you're getting less food. Your brain has all this additional reserve of energy. And so this might allow you to have more focus with things like reading, with things like that business project you're working on, that passion project. Maybe you're starting a YouTube channel or a podcast. These things are going to become easier. I've also found with my own self that as much as it's uncomfortable, each time that I get into a deficit or I'm strategically monitoring my nutrition, each and every time I do that, I am the most productive with my coaching calls. I have the most clarity. I have the least amount of brain fog. I have the best ideas come to me. And from just like a faith and religious perspective, when you spend time with the Lord and like you spend time doing what it is He wants you to do, which as is in the Bible, like fast, pray, do these sorts of things, aside from just the health benefits of potentially doing some of these things, you're also going to be spending more time not focused on secular worldly things about food, energy, emotion, how you feel, but you're going to be able to focus time on like actually helping people, actually getting closer with your relationship with God. And there's just a plethora of reasons why you should go into a deficit. Now, I talked months back around why you shouldn't go into a deficit when it's too early, especially if you're taking time away from the gym. You should probably enter a bulk first, slowly and gradually increase your food, slowly and gradually increase your training, and then cut back. Because if you have a diminished appetite, a diminished metabolism, and then you just cut your food back, it's not going to help the problem. It's just going to make those things less and less efficient. So my advice for you guys watching, if you're going to go into some sort of nutritional protocol to burn fat, to get lean, whether it's for a competition, or you just want to, like me, look good year round and like feel your best and have this productivity carry over, then go into the mindset of, not am I restricting myself from food, not am I cutting back on food. Yeah, I might be eating a little bit less, but the whole outcome of this is I want to become more disciplined. I want to have, more intuition with how to eat properly without going overboard. Going into something like a cut, as long as you're not super restrictive with it, as long as you're actually becoming aware of the emotions you're feeling, the hunger cues, etc., and you're sitting with them and you're not limiting yourself from, like, you're not cutting yourself off too crazy. When you bounce back, it's going to be way easier to get your metabolism ramped up. You're going to be burning way more calories because you're going to bring your food back up. Most people don't want to talk about this because they think that going to a cut is just for bodybuilders. Everybody that wants to burn fat needs to go into a caloric deficit. I don't care if you're eating junk food or healthy food, you need to go into deficit to burn fat. But the best way to do it is eat whole food, organic options where you're going to have that density, the nutrients to actually fill you up and keep you sustained and maintain that muscle. Because if you just go into a cut, bro, and you just drop all your food, it's not going to look very pretty on the other side if you just lose a bunch of weight, unless it's specifically fat and you're holding on to muscle. That's my advice. Going into a cut, don't just focus on the physical benefits, but focus on the person you're becoming, the additional reserve you're going to have in your brain and in your headspace for other things aside from food, aside from digestion. Your sleep quality is going to be way better. I'm telling you, your sleep cycles are going to be on point when you go into a sharp cut. When I say sharp cut, I don't mean just go from 2,500 calories to 1,200. No. You need to strategically adjust these things. And if you know what to do, great, do it. If you don't, get something that can help you out. And yeah, just like go into the intention of, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Each time that I've gone to the leanest points of my entire physique career, I guess you could say career, each time I've gone my leanest, it was never, I want to get shredded. It was always, I want to optimize my brain performance. I want to optimize my clients' results. I want to optimize my business. I want to get these things better. I want to make more time for reading, for education, for learning, for maybe meditation, gratitude, etc. And each time I did that, now I have a clear reasoning as to why I'm doing this, as opposed to just, getting shredded. Because obviously when you're hungry, it's going to be very challenging to fight those feelings of, I need food, like screw it, like one meal's not going to affect me. But if you have that mindset,